The people with the most knowledge and experience make less YouTube videos and they write more. If you really want to get good information and really solid training advice, I really recommend you read books, articles, and you spend some time interpreting your own real world experience with training. Everyone's in a different place when they watch my video or they watch someone else's video, because you could be a beginner, your first year of training, you could be a really advanced person that's been lifting for decades. Who knows? Everyone's in a different place. As great people are on YouTube, like a lot of people on YouTube, they have a lot of great information, and I love this stuff. I love listening to a lot of people, what people say, and I like getting different ideas, and it's awesome. But sometimes when you watch a lot of people, you have a tendency to almost take their weight as gold. And maybe you do it consciously, maybe you do it unconsciously, who knows. But understand that a lot of the people that have the best experience, that have the real world experience, that are breaking records and training people and really actually doing programs for people, are the people that I think about are like Louis Simmons, Dave Tate, who else is there? There's just a lot of people out there. I just can't name off the top of my head. I mean, they do a lot of writing, and you got to check out what they do, because they will give you better insight when you read. I really think the best place you can read, where you get good information, is really from these people. Get their experience. Find what they have on YouTube, like seminars and stuff they've done. Like Dave Tate, watched this really great video of Dave Tate that I want to talk about later, which I actually want to talk about in this video just a little bit. It's a seminar he did in April of this year that I just recently watched, and I freaking watched it like 2 times already. It's freaking a lot of little tidbits of really gold gems. Another place to look is books on human physiology, nutrition, human physiology, and anatomy. These are the things that are science-based, based on just science, stuff we know about the body that's almost exact. Obviously, a lot of it's not all exact, but a really good amount, like chemical bonds, ATP, energy systems. Also, like having a good knowledge base on human anatomy and biomechanics. And then you kind of connect these two things together. This is kind of what goes through my head when I listen to an expert talk. I think about energy systems. I think about human anatomy, physiology, how the body moves, mechanics, good mechanics. And then I form my own opinion. That's kind of how I do things. This is how I do my own programming. It's part of the fun of this training thing. But with that said, understand that I can only give you my opinion and my experience based on my experience, and you have to consider the context. I'm coming from a certain background, and when I share something with you, it's from that context. And although it has a lot of different interpretations, so that's why some people will disagree with me, some people will agree with me. Same thing with people on YouTube. They have different contexts, and you're trying to give really good information, and you got to understand that it kind of depends on where the information is coming from and who the person is. This is one of the biggest reasons why I love Starrett so much, is because his viewpoint is a lot to do with human movement and efficiency, mechanics, the way the body moves. It's stuff you define. In the case of him, it's a lot of CrossFit stuff, because he's a big figurehead in CrossFit. However, it's really the human body, human movement expression that I really like from him. So when he says something, it means a lot more to me than if someone else said something, because he's a physical therapist, he's a doctor in physical therapy. So he's got like a lot of credentials and experience that's really based on some things that are pretty finite, the way the body moves. People like Omar Isuf, Candido Training, HQ, Johnny Candido, Jason Blaha, Elliot Hulse, even, all these guys. I love these guys. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to knock them at all, because I really do love their channels. I'm a big fan. But some of the content they put up doesn't really make any sense for me because of my experience. Not to say that I'm better than anybody, but it just doesn't fit in the context for me, because I'm in a different place with kind of how I do my own thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that you shouldn't trust their information, or you just, what I'm trying to say is, this is what I'm really trying to say. I want you to take people's information for what it is, take your viewpoint, and come up with your own opinion. So with the title of this video being about Jason Blaha, or about what he said about time under tension, because I am a Juggernaut Fitness TV fan. I love Jason Blaha and all the content he creates. Some of it I agree with it, some of it I disagree with it. And one of the things I remember recently, maybe a few months ago, he talked about time under tension and saying it was a waste of time, or you shouldn't focus on time under tension. And then I hear this talk by Dave Tate about talking about time under tension, and the context in which he explains it kind of makes a lot more sense to me than what Jason said. Because when Jason said something about like time under tension being a waste of time, now he may have said something else, but based on multiple videos I've watched him, that's kind of the stance that he has. Is that after watching, you know, Dave Tate talk about it, I'm just thinking, you know, I know Dave Tate has a lot of experience behind him, a lot of basically clout. You know, he started Elite FTS, and he's talking about how time under tension can kind of help with the recovery. He doesn't really necessarily say that, but he kind of says that in his talk. There'll be a link in the description. He talks about how a lot of different things, and I'm not here to like really sell time under tension. I'm really here to sell you the idea that, you know, whatever you hear about, whether it be, you know, training biceps or arms or legs or doing time under tension or doing 90% to maximum, or, you know, 1 rep maxes or maxing out working at 70%, all these programs, right? Form your own opinion. I mean, you can try to learn from other people, of course, but form your own opinion. Do the research and try to find out what these people are talking about even make any sense. Because in my head, when Jason talked about time under tension not making any sense, I remember years ago how that's one of the best ways I've learned how to move. It's one of the best ways I learned how to teach clients how to move better and learn them how to use their muscles better. Now, is there a better way? There probably is, but sometimes I've learned for a lot of people time under tension is one of the better ways to teach someone who freaking can't bench press with shit and the bars all over the place. And again, what I'm saying is that there's something to this volume thing. Volume, repetitions, getting a burn, getting a pump. There's something to it. And there probably isn't any science behind it or enough science behind it or enough way to measure this thing. But understand that I just know that through my experience of training myself, I mean, you know, I know that there's something to that. When you burn a muscle out, you make it freaking, you work the shit out of it, right? And he also talked a lot about like training a muscle versus training a movement. Dave Tate in his talk, Learn to Train 8 is what it was, the name of the talk. I'll leave a link in the description. Anyone who's interested in this kind of stuff, you're going to freaking love it. You're going to nerd out on it. And if you want to have a discussion about it, feel free to leave comments below. I'm going to make more videos about the stuff in that video because a lot of that stuff I can apply to myself and I can apply to other people, because he talked about what concurrent training was, what block periodization. Yes, he didn't go into what block periodization was. He talked about linear progression, non-linear progression, that kind of things, and talked about really mainly accessory work and what accessory work makes your muscles stronger. And what I'm trying to get at is think for yourself for a moment and think about what exercises make your bench go up, what exercises make your squat go up, what exercises make your deadlift go up. Do you know? What help you? And some people will think grip strength. So what are you going to do to improve grip strength? Probably lots of pulling movements that burn out your grip. I mean, that's kind of one of the things that when I had weak grip, that were my issues. I would just work on a lot of pulling movements, right? Actually, back pulls was my go-to exercise, but you know in your head already. You might have a different exercise in your head, but you know that there are certain movements that help you. Maybe leg presses helped your squat. Of course, squatting more is going to help your squat, but you know that if you do another exercise, it's going to help you improve your squat also. Anyways, this is kind of a little bit of a kind of all over the place video, but my main topic or main ending point of this video is get the information into your body, learn it, hear me out, and then form your own opinion. See if it makes sense, and if it doesn't make sense, discard it. If it does, investigate is really what I'm trying to say. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.